Hey everyone, Bob the Canadian here. So this is game 2 of the bronze match between myself and Ari. So naturally we had to switch sides. I'm assuming you watched game 1 already if you're watching this one, where I was a shadow player and it was very close, but despite a pretty bad mistake on my part, I managed to win the game anyway with some appropriately played combat cards and some luck. Okay, so game 2, I'm the Free People's player. I did the my usual start anyway of alternate Gimli out in Erebor and alternate Gandalf as the guide. So I get the Narya die. So he gets 1 token, and of course he takes the mustering token. That's pretty standard anyway. So I start with Farmir's Rangers, and I will go alone. Decent cards. King is revealed. Nazgul Search, also decent cards. It's funny seeing that he has Nazgul Search, but you'll see what happens anyway. Okay, so he allocates 1 eye and rolls no more, and only 1 muster, so that's a bit of a bad start. And I roll 3 movement against 1 eye, so that's not bad at all for me. So he starts by drawing a card. I think that makes sense. It's very unlikely that King is revealed or Nazgul Search will be playable this turn. I move the Fellowship. They're safe. Armies shuffle. Fellowship moves again, and it's safe. It's funny, like, even when it's just 1 die at 6, in the Lords of Middle-earth expansion, it's such a hold-my-breath moment. Every time I move the Fellowship, I feel like I'm just in for a world of pain. You know, like, I'm probably going to get hit and revealed right now, and then the Chief is going to show up, and he's going to cycle corruption cards on me. It's going to be game over. Like, it just feels like that's going to happen every time. Okay, armies move. I muster the Elves to war. You know, I mean, mustering Gondor or even the North would be a reasonable choice too, or even the Dwarves, actually. Just with this army in Morannon, it's kind of looking like he's headed towards the Dew Line, but this could always pivot and go to Gondor, or even Rohan or Lorien, you know. But especially since he might not be putting Sauron to war for a bit, mustering the Elves is a little extra useful in the Lord's expansion, because that increases the odds of me being able to get a keeper in play after Gandalf is gone. Okay, armies keep moving. I muster the Elves down another step. He puts Isengard to war. I pass. He brings in Saruman. I move the Fellowship again, and it's hit, but it's Smeagol, so it doesn't reveal. So that might have been a little bit too risky on my part to move a third time there. But here's my thinking anyway. Like, it's 50-50 whether I get hit. You know, it's still just as likely that I don't get hit as that I do get hit. And if I do get hit, with the Smeagol tiles in there, it's, again, 50-50 odds whether I get revealed or not. So it's only 1 in 4 that I get revealed. And since Saruman was already played, there's no Chief this turn anyway. So anyway, it's a bit of a bummer that Smeagol comes and pushes Gandalf out from being guide. So that means I don't get Narya die anymore. But it's still better than being revealed for sure. Okay, and the armies chug along off towards Gondor. So, like I said, my Narya die goes away, and there's Wizard's Staff. So that's exciting. Interestingly, I learned a little bit here. I always thought you needed to have Gandalf the Grey as the guide. So I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, that's annoying that Smeagol's in the way for that too. Because now I have to move to kill him, and then I can play it. But it's actually just if Gandalf the Grey is in the Fellowship. So even riding in the backseat behind Smeagol, you can still play Wizard Staff. So that's nice anyway. Okay, so he picks up a red tile and New Powers Rising. Also decent cards. Okay, so he allocates 1 eye and rolls 2 more this time. And I rolled that beautiful roll. So this is a tough choice of a turn for me. The plan can either be I'm going to move 3 times and probably kill both Smeagol and Gandalf and then get Gandalf the White. Or I can play Wizard's Staff and move twice and see what happens. It's a tough call. Honestly, I really don't know what the actual correct choice is between the two. But why I made the choice I made in the end, I probably passed first though, right? Yeah, I passed first. And he plays a red tile, so that doesn't really change what I'm doing much. So I end up playing Wizard Staff because I'm looking at his military progress. Like, he's got Saruman on the board, but he's only got 1 muster this turn. So his military isn't exactly flying. So that's why I feel like I probably have the time to wait and play Wizard Staff and enjoy getting to move safely anyway. Okay, so he plays New Powers Rising. Makes sense. I move the Fellowship. They're safe. He draws a card. I move again, and they're hit. So I use Wizard Staff. And he attacks Fords. Right, I guess with New Powers Rising, I guess, like, since I've taken 5 steps already, and it's turn 2, and I might take a 6th step, like, that's a really fast start for the Fellowship. So I think he feels like he needs to hit the gas too. And Gandalf the White is clearly not about to show up this turn anyway. Alternatively, I could have separated, I could have used I Will Go Alone to chuck Gandalf the Grey and just yeet him out somewhere on the map and then crown him. That is also an option of a thing I could have done this turn. But I think if I really wanted Gandalf the White, though, I would have just moved 3 times and killed Smeagol and Gandalf and then got Gandalf the White. Okay, so he attacks Fords of Eisen, he plays Storm Bats, I play Shield Wall. So it's a bit of a bummer saying goodbye to Fear Fire Foes here, because specifically I Will Go Alone and Fear Fire Foes is a really cool combo for being able to put a Hobbit out here efficiently and then get the North to war. But I don't know. I'm thinking about moving again. The odds of me getting revealed are reasonably high, so I don't know. I kind of feel like there's decent odds the Fellowship's going to be all the way over here, and it's not really going to be an option anyway. So might as well try to keep Helm's Deep a little more of a nuisance for him. So he rolls only 1 hit. So Swarm of Bats and Shield Wall both didn't really make a difference there anyway. And I roll 2 hits back. So good job, Rohan. He presses, of course, and I retreat to Helm's Deep. And I move again. And I get hit, and it's a 2. So that's perfectly pleasant. Like, I think a Smeagol I think not even Smeagol tile would have been best. 3 would have been best, but 2 is the next best tile for me. Smeagol would be best in terms of health, but I like getting to kill Smeagol here, because then I get Gandalf the Grey back as guide, so I get an Arya die back next turn. Okay, and out comes the Balrog, which, makes sense. That's the only die that he can add to his dice repertoire this turn. Because it would take 2 to get Sauron to war and then bring in either the Witch King or Gothmog. And he only has 1 muster. So yeah, only rolling 2 musters naturally in the first 2 turns, while the Fellowship moves 6 times is a pretty unlucky start for sure. Okay, and wouldn't you know it, I pick up Safe Paths in the Dark. Oh, right, he accidentally drew that extra character card. Okay, wow, good turn for him. He picks up Cruel Weather and Corsairs. Those are, like, debatably 2 of the strongest cards in the game. Like, that's an encouraging turn 3 draw if ever I saw one. But Safe Paths in the Dark, I remember thinking to myself, it'd be really nice if I picked up Safe Paths in the Dark. And, there it is. So I have all the time in the world to get rid of We Shall Get It before we get down to Gollum. The bummer is that I'm actually at 0 corruption. So half the plus side of playing this is getting to heal a corruption. So I kind of have to wait until I take some corruption, and then I can play this card. But like I said, lots of time before I get down to Gollum. Okay, so he allocates 1 eye, rolls 3 more, and I roll 0 movement. So that was frustrating stuff for sure. I remember thinking to myself, like, hey, if I got lucky and roll a bunch of movement, I could get to Mordor by the end of turn 3. That would be crazy. Nope, not getting to Mordor this turn. So looking at the options, like, there are at least things to get done with these dice anyway, and at least he did roll 3 dice, so that's something. Where he rolled 3 eyes, so it's not like he's getting acres and acres of military progress done while the Fellowship's not moving. And I can use Gandalf's ring to move, and I'm possibly even considering bringing in Elrond so I can use his ring to move twice on that. But I'm burning 2 rings this turn. It doesn't feel amazing. Anyway, so Sauron comes to war. Oh, yeah, and now I play Faramir's Rangers. Right, I wasn't too scared about the South Ithilien army because the whole of last turn Sauron wasn't at war. So now I play Faramir's Rangers, and I get 2 hits. So that's a good Faramir. That's, expected is 1. It's pretty, like I say, uncommon to get 2 hits with that anyway. Okay, so army's headed towards Lorien and towards Gondor. I play every little as a gain here, which, yeah, I think I'm hoping to redraw into... Wait, what am I hoping to redraw into? I have no idea what I'm hoping to redraw into. I guess I'm just having fun cycling cards. Of course, it's just annoying for the Shadow player to have these regulars out here. It just makes cleaning up Gondor take longer. Okay, so Shadows Gather. Oh, right, that was the plan here. Right. So the Shadows Gather happens, and this Dol Guldur army unites with the Isengard army down here. So now it's a very dead Helm's Deep there. In theory, I could have used an H to move this army. Like, I have 2 hybrid dice here, so that's enough to get this army to Helm's Deep. But if I step into West Emnet, he's going to put Helm's Deep under siege anyway. If I'd known that he was going to do that, or if I'd suspected that, maybe I could have done it just to force his hand and make it more inconvenient for him. But I don't know. Anyway, so in comes Elrond. So I'm going with plan crazy. And in comes the Witch King, because he's not really expecting the Fellowship to get revealed this turn. So there goes Gandalf's ring to turn that one into a character die. I think I saved the Palantir instead of the H because I'm thinking I might play Safe Paths in the Dark, I guess. There's a lot I could do with that hybrid die, though. Like, I could move troops along, or I could muster Gondor, No, I guess the point is, what am I really doing at that age? Maybe mustering Gondor. I don't know. Anyway, Fellowship moves and is hit, but it's a 1. So again, not revealed is still good luck. Been hit 3 times and still not revealed. All right, we're activating the nations now because the Black Captain just showed up. So I choose to take the corruption because I have safe paths in the dark and I can play it now. I use Elrond's ring and retrieve the character die. So he uses Gandalf's ring now because, you know, when you're the Shadow player and you see the free people burn rings aggressively like that, you think, oh no, they have 3 rings for the Elven Kings. So by using Gandalf's ring now, that means that if I were to play it, I'd have to take Gandalf's ring back first. So I'd have to get lucky enough to get 2 hits to get Elrond's die back. So I think that is a very correct play on his part. So he attacks Helm's Deep. I move again, and I'm safe. And he attacks Helm's Deep again. And he's playing a strategy card, probably Relentless King's Reveal, just to cycle it. There's no real point in me playing a card here. Like, the Stronghold is very doomed. It's just wasting a card to play it at this point. Okay, so he plays Relentless Assault there, and he gets, 2 hits. I get 1 hit back. So ends Rohan, alas. So ends Helm's Deep anyway. Oh, right, and I had planned on playing Safe Paths in the Dark, but then I realized, like, because the Fellowship is so healthy, like, so absurdly healthy. I'm on step 8. All I've lost is Smeagol and 1 corruption that I'm healing again right away. I could definitely afford to chuck a companion or 2. So I think about it, and I end up sending Boromir all the way to Dol Amroth, because not only does that make Dol Amroth stronger, it also allows me to get Gondor to war more quickly, because now I have his flexibility for how to muster them down. So that's the thought anyway. And of course, now if I pick up House of the Stewards again, because I picked it up earlier by accident, then I can play that in Dol Amroth. So now there's 3 cards that can muster up in Dol Amroth. So that's pretty cool. Downside is now I have 2 keeper dice, so increased odds of rolling an eye anyway. So he allocates 1 and rolls 2 more. I roll only 1 movement. So that makes me very glad that I did my crazy double ring burning tactic last time. Because if I hadn't, then it would not be possible for me to get to Mordor. As it is, if I use that Will of the West to move, and I don't get revealed, well, I guess I'd have to get revealed and not lose Gandalf to be able to not hide. But I need to use that Will of the West, and I need to also use Galadriel's ring. So I've officially used all 3 rings by turn 4 to get to Mordor. So, like, to be fair, getting to Mordor by turn 4 is good, but showing up without any rings feels ominous. You know, it's like you're kind of just... You're asking fate, hey, do you want me to sit in Mordor forever and do nothing? Because I could do that. So, anyway, I say, Oh, right, I have to pick which keeper die to chuck. I keep the muster because, I already have too many cards I want to play. I want to play Safe Paths in the Dark. I want to play File, so I don't really need to draw more cards right now. That muster is certainly useful in Gondor anyway. I expect anyway. Okay, so he starts mustering the Southrons to war. I move the Fellowship. I'm safe. Yeah, so that's so sad for him, having both Nazgul Search and Cruel Weather in turn. So that's why I said earlier that it was funny that he'd had Nazgul Search since turn 1. Like, that was his very first character card draw. And it's one of those, like, rare-ish games. Like, it's not impossible, but it's pretty unlikely anyway that the Fellowship makes it all the way to Mordor without being revealed. So yeah, that's very sad for him that he can't use Cruel Weather now. Okay, Southrons are to war. And now I muster Gondor. I wonder if I should have rushed mustering Gondor first. I think I should have, actually. Or actually, I think I should have just not passed originally. Wait, did I pass? I can't remember if I even passed this turn. Right, no, I chuck a keeper die. Yeah, I passed. Okay, so I shouldn't have passed. I should have moved right away and then started mustering Gondor. Because, now that he's mustered the Southrons to war, not only did that put the pressure of Day Without Dawn, but that also adds the pressure on Dol Amroth. So if I'd started mustering right away, I could have gotten an elite in. But now it's too late, and now that muster of Gondor is completely useless. Okay, so I walk Faramir back to Minas Tirith, and I walk 1 regular into Dol Amroth from Every Little Is a Gain, and here come the Corsairs. So now Gondor's at war, and I think about what to muster here. Right, I put a regular in full just to mess with him and some leadership in Minas Tirith. He draws a card. Oh, wow, that's a very peachy card. Black Captain Command, so you can pivot leadership and try to blow up Dol Amroth this turn, if you wanted to anyway. And of course, I use Galadriel's Ring to move one more time, and I'm hit, but it's also not a reveal. So, wow, and a 3 to get rid of Gandalf 4. That's perfect. Yeah, he says lol. That would be very frustrating to watch as a Shadow player anyway, because a reveal here would have been pretty devastating. That would have meant an extra tile for Moria, an extra tile for the Balrog, and an extra tile for Minas Morgul. And the odds of me getting revealed were pretty high at this point. There were only 5 tiles that didn't reveal. So also getting a 3 to perfectly kill off Gandalf, so I can get Gandalf the White next turn, and I have Strider as the guide so he can hide again and help me move faster in Mordor is very good for me. So yeah, so in comes Black Captain to try to blow up Dol Amroth. Makes sense, you want to get him because elves are at war, so Imrahil, Círdan's, and Horn of House of the Stewards are all out there. Reinforce. And very tragically, he's using Cruel Weather to cycle. Yeah, frustrating stuff. So he gets 2 hits. That's not bad. I get 2 hits back. He presses. I could play no quarter here. I don't think it really makes a difference, though, because this stronghold is probably doomed unless I miraculously survive this and pick up more cards next turn to reinforce it. So he says no cards, which is, it's a bit of a bummer because, you know, he's going to have to chuck a card at the end of this turn. So I would be tempted to play something like probably Nazgul Search just to eliminate that leadership reroll because you're going to have to chuck a card anyway, and this card's pretty useless now. I get maybe you wanted to save it for Minas Tirith because there's a lot of leadership there, but you still have a card surplus problem here. Anyway, so he rolls no hits on 10 dice, so that's a bummer for sure. I also roll no hits back, though, so that's very gracious. He presses and gets only 1/6, and I get 1 hit back. So, yeah, miraculously, Gondor did, in fact, survive. Well, Dol Amroth survived for now, anyway. Okay, so now the Narya die is gone, and it's just Elrond's die. I pick up the Great Company and Spirit of Mordor. I'm being a little annoyed with this one. Like, why'd you have to be a Great Company? Couldn't you have been House of the Stewards instead? That would have been so much cooler. Anyway, he picks up Shadows on the Misty Mountains and Nazgul Strike, and he chucks Olog High. Interesting. I would have chucked Nazgul Search before I chuck Olog High. But again, Foul Stench against Minas Tirith will be useful. Okay, so Fellowship declares, and we draw 3. And I think I just eat it. Yeah, I eat it whole. I definitely debated taking a random for a bit, but losing Strider when at the start of Mordor, when there's so many reveals in there, felt like a poor choice. Because I feel like there's a lot of value for him to give still. And of course, I still want to play Safe Paths in the Dark to heal 1. So I don't think it's going to be too bad. And I might pick up Athelas still. So okay, so off I go into Mordor. Only 1 red tile is added. No blue tiles. So he allocates 1 eye, rolls 2 more, and I roll another not terrible, but not great turn. Like, I really would have rather had a movement, had more movement there. So I have to pick between moving the Fellowship or getting Gandalf the White here. And obviously I want to do that right away because I don't know if he has Day Without Dawn or not. So I end up getting Gandalf the White because, even if I move this turn, it's still probably 2 more turns before I'm done Mordor. So I'd rather have that extra die. And pray next turn gets better. It's a little frustrating, though, that, what do you call it? Since I have no rings, I can't move the Fellowship at all. So I'm taking 1 corruption just for existing this turn. So that's a bummer for sure. Okay, so he sees Gandalf show up, and he musters a Warg in Orthanc, in case I have Ents, which makes sense. But I muster up an elite in Minas Tirith. He thinks. He attacks Osgiliath. And I scouts away to Pelargir. I'd originally planned on scouting back to Minas Tirith just to make a field battle and whittle them down a little bit. But then, looking at these armies, there's a 9-1 here, there's 8 more regulars here, and there's this 3-4-3 over here. Even if I kill a few extra regulars, that makes no difference. The stronghold is still doomed. So instead, I retreat to Pelargir, hoping that he's going to attack me. And then my new plan is I'm going to scouts away and then play Help Unlooked For on Dol Amroth. So that's what I was really hoping here. Because having 2 scouts in hand and Help Unlooked For is a crazy combo to have. So that's my hope here anyway. So I draw a strategy card because, I'm hoping for Imrahil or Círdan's ships. So he attacks Minas Tirith and puts it under siege. Then he attacks Fold. No card, no card. I scouts over to Druid and Forest, kind of just to, I don't know, just to exist there and be annoying. The thoughts of playing Help Unlooked For. Okay, so, right, here's my new plan. Now I use that H to bring that army that scouts to Polar Gear just over to Lasarnak, so maybe I should have just retreated to Lasarnak in the first place. I don't know. Feels a little bit silly, but here we are. So he attacks Lasarnak, which I think makes a lot of sense, because if he didn't, then I was going to play Help Unlooked For and do a bit of damage and bully him off of Minas Tirith, and then all these 5 regulars would get to join Minas Tirith, and then he'd have to fight a field battle and whittle me down. And yeah, anyway. Okay, so he attacks Lasarnak first, which makes sense. He gets 2 hits, I gets 2 hits. That's about fair. So he presses, and I retreat. He thinks about it. He sends 1 regular to conquer the settlement. So that makes sense. So at least I wasted a bit of his time, so I guess it's not the worst play I've ever made. And I put File of Gladrill in there. Like, I don't really need the corruption lessened at this point, but I do need not revealing tiles in there, so that helps. And he brings in the Mouth. So now I pick up an Ant card, so I'm excited about that. Kindred of Glorfindel, also useful. Yeah, and there's me taking the corruption for having not moved or hidden last turn. And he picks up cards. Madness and Horror, Flocks of Crabine. I would probably chuck Nazgul Search and Nazgul Strike. If it were me, anyway. He chucks Flocks and Nazgul Search. Okay. So I guess the Black Breath could be useful for maybe killing Boromir or killing a leader in Minas Tirith. I feel like I'd still rather have They Are Terrible, though. Okay, so allocates 1 eye, rolls 1 more, and I roll, again, 1 movement. So it was an amazing start for me, moving 6 times in 2 turns, but then in the 4 turns since then, I've rolled a total of 3 movement naturally, and I had to use 1 of those for Gandalf the White. So, yeah, it's a swingy game, you know. It comes and it goes. So here we are. So I move anyway because I obviously don't want to get it taken away by Day Without Dawn, and it's an eye, so that's okay. You know, it does 2 damage. Like that's fine. I think I take I take a random, which is a little bit of a risk, but I don't know. I don't want to go all the way up to, what was that would have been going up to 6 corruption. So, and then next turn he could chuck a bunch of eyes in there, and Isildur's Bane is still out there, so I don't know. Stuff happens. Okay, and he plays Breaking and draws a 1. So, you know, there were 2 3s in there that would have gotten all the way up to Strider, and there was a couple 2s in there that would have hurt. Obviously, I would have rather seen an eye go out, but like a 1 is that's about fair. That's okay. So I hide the Fellowship. He uses Elrond's Ring to attack Edoras. He gets 2 hits. No, right. He got 5 hits. Yeah. That's just so funny. Just the unnecessary overkill. Like that's pretty much the scene from The Last Jedi where, you know, there's all the 4 walkers and everything that are just absolutely blasting the bejesus out of where Luke Skywalker was standing. It's like, do you think you got him? Anyway. Okay, so I play Ents now because, right, I also want to play Safe Paths in the Dark. Might as well take a shot at killing Saruman. It's 50-50 pretty much, and I get him. So that's very lucky anyway. Well, not very. It's moderately lucky. Like I said, it's 50-50. And then I play Safe Paths in the Dark, so it feels good to heal and get that card off the table. Okay, so the troops are moving towards conquering the rest of Gondor. I draw another strategy card because, again, I'd really like to be able to reinforce Dol Amroth, and he uses Grond on Dol Amroth, which I guess helps, you know, because when you have a lot of regulars, it helps accelerate, but at the same time, it feels bad using it to just get 1 regular. But anyway, gotta hit the gas. Okay, so he plays Black Breath, mainly just for cycling, I suppose. I play Brave Stand because I'm not going to play it anywhere else, really. He gets his 1 hit. I get 1 hit back, so that's that. He passes. Armies move. I thought about mustering in Pelargir just to be annoying, but I can't remember what I thought to do instead here. Well, we'll see. He attacks Pelargir, and he plays Swarm of Bats, I guess in case I had another scouts, and he gets 3 hits. So if I had mustered an elite, I would have taken 4 hits, and 1 regular would have survived to tell the tale. To go run away to West Horondor and maybe be annoying. So anyway. Okay, so right now I make one of the worst plays of the game. I play Help Unlooked For from Druid Forest against Minas Tirith because I have such a big army there. He's only rolling one die against me. Now that leadership is big. That means he gets the reroll. So he'll probably kill me and I won't get a lot done. But it's kind of like, hey, I might as well be annoying. You'll see afterwards why this was such a poor choice. So no card, no card. I miss. He misses. I press. He stays. No card. I get a hit. He also gets a hit. So I successfully killed one orc. And then he plays Shadow Lengthens. So I very helpfully got that regular out of the way so that he could play this card. So that was a very poor choice on my part. Like I really should have seen that coming. Or realized that was an option and left him there to be annoying. Because how much was I going to get done? Not much. It was just a poor choice on my part. Okay, so I mustered the dwarves to war, I don't know, just in case this army is going to come and try to get Dale. I want this army to be able to come out and fight for it. Right, because after he's done with Minas Tirith, he will be at... this is outdated. This is at 6 points. After he's done with Minas Tirith, it'll be at 8 points. So then an appetizing remaining 2 points would be the last two cities of the Shire and Dale. So this army can certainly go and get the Shire. So that's why I'm thinking mustering up to defend against Dale. Attack Minas Tirith. I'm reasonably hopeful about this stronghold maybe holding out a little while, though. Like a 2-3-3 is pretty strong, and I have a couple decent cards here. So Devilry Vorthank against Daylight, and he just rolls 3 hits anyway. So that's just... Like, obviously my Daylight still helped, because he might have gotten even more hits, but it's still... You don't want to get hit 3 times when you play Daylight. That's just a bummer, and I only get 2 hits back, so... The Bummer Hummer is riding strong. He presses. No card, no card. I'm hanging on to Power 2 Great and Kindred of Glorfindel in case he, for his other 2 points, decides to go after Lorien or Rivendell. You know, want to keep my defenses flexible. But he gets 1 hit, I get 3. That helps. And he presses some more. No card, no card. He gets 2 hits, I get 2 hits. Does he press even more? Yeah, he does press even more. No card, no card. He gets 1 hit, I get 2. So This game has had a lot of strongholds just barely hanging on by one guy and wasting more of his time. So that's very good for me anyway. Naturally, I would have liked that stronghold to be even healthier, but still wasting his time is good for sure. Okay, so now he picks up Day Without Dawn, and now I've got Thranduil too. So it's interesting. If I hadn't played Celeborn's right hand, I would have had all 3 of the reinforce and draw card Elven Stronghold ones, which are pretty cool. I mean, the elves are all the way at war anyway, so I don't really need them that badly. It's still nice to have the flexibility, though. Fellowship's okay. Allocates 1 eye, and I roll 2 movement this time, but they're both Will of the West, and you might have noticed he just picked up Day Without Dawn. So, like, he just picked it up. That's very frustrating stuff for me. So, naturally, I move right away, and it's filed. So, that's nice. That's very nice. So, not only do I not get revealed, but I also heal some. It, makes the ring victory much more likely, assuming I ever get there. And, of course, Day Without Dawn comes to ruin my day. I draw a card. I think I'm mainly hoping for 3 rings for the Elven Kings, because I could get Elrond's ring back now too, so that helps a lot. But also Mithril and Sting or other blue tiles are out there; those could help too. Bilbo Song isn't terrible. Like, I don't really need the healing right now. I need speed, but okay. So. Right, he brings in a couple more regulars to Minas Tirith to finish it off, and he's getting that army ready in North Dunland to go and do something. Attacks Minas Tirith, plays a card. Probably Candles, I guess, just for the cycle. Yeah, Candles just for the cycle. And he rolls no hits. So that's very frustrating stuff. I think, let's see what else he had in hand. With Ring Wraiths or Abroad, and with a ring. So he had 5 attacks after that. So if he had taken Minas Tirith here, this army could 1, move them both together, 2, 3, 4, 5 to hopefully blow it up. Now, of course, he doesn't know that I'd be able to muster once, play Power 2 Great, and play Kindred of Glorfindel. But at the same time, like, there's still, a shot that this army could blow up Rivendell this turn and win the game. So not getting Minas Tirith right now is frustrating for sure. And I even get a hit back. So now he's down to 4 dice. So that's very good luck for me. Okay, so he brings more reinforcements to Minas Tirith. Attacks Minas Tirith again. Cycles Palantir. And he gets the hit this time. I get one back, but that doesn't really matter. This army's not going anywhere. Okay, so I muster in Galadriel since Elrond's die has a star on it. Now I have that extra die that might get me the 1 in 6 movement, And at the same time, I also don't want to over muster too much in either one yet because I don't know which stronghold he's going for between Rivendell and Lorien. He plays Shadows on the Misty Mountains. Oh, right. I forgot about that. That makes that army so much more intimidating. Like an 8-1 to a 7-3 is just, that's very strong. So I muster in Rivendell because, if he has to pick one to go after right now, and he goes after Lorien, at least I can still muster more in there next turn, and I have Power Too Great to throw in the way with Elrond's die first. So that's my thought anyway. So he chooses to go after Rivendell anyway, and I put a Power Too Great down because I don't know what I'm going to roll next turn, so I'd rather have it in the way now and not have to use a more important die to play it later. So he immediately chucks it. He got throughout Shadow of Dol Guldur and Morgul Wound with this Palantir to remove Power Too Great. Okay, on to the next turn. All right, away goes Elrond's die. I pick up Mirror of Galadriel and Through a Day and a Night. Not super helpful for the Fellowship, but both good combat cards. He gets Denethor's Folly and Wormtongue. Those are pretty useless cards. Actually, no, I guess Devilry of Orthanc is okay, because he has Isengard units here, of course. Okay, it's one eye, rolls no more, and I roll, finally, a few movement. So it's like the first time since turn 2 that I've rolled more than one movement. So it is 3, which is enough to maybe get there, but I only have so many dice to hide again with Strider, and if I, lost Strider for some reason, like from Foul Thing, then I'd be in trouble. And of course there's a red tile, so I need to not hit that red tile with all 3 movements. So yeah, there's a question of whether you put that blue tile in there or not. I think I don't at first because I'm scared about needing all 3 of those dice to hide again. I guess I didn't. There's no way I'd need all 3 of them, though. I also want to have a die to play Kindred of Glorfindel, though, just to make my odds of holding out another turn that much better. So I move right away because I'd rather move before he puts a red tile in there. And it's a 1 reveal, so that's fine. I'm very okay with, I think. So, he gets the Sealder's Bane. That's a big deal. That's scary. I guess I'm in such good health, it's unlikely he's going to kill me anyway, but you never know. Crazy things happen. It's scarier if there's Shelob in there. So I use the Keeper die to hide, of course. He plays a Sealder's Bane and draws an eye. So that is salt in the open wound right there, man. Like, out of all these tiles, literally any of them except an eye would have been fine. I think actually the 3 stop would have been actually good news bears for me. Just because I can take that 3 corruption, that's fine, but not getting hit by the stop anymore. So, okay, this is only the second worst scenario. Anyway. So I move again, and it's the 3. So I just chuck Strider here because might as well. Like, I only need the 1 more movement anyway, right? And if I do get stopped, it's a tile that doesn't reveal me, so that doesn't make much difference. Okay, so he moves towards Rivendell. And I figure I might as well throw the blue tile in there, because if he had a red tile to put in, he would have done it right then. So I might as well put in the blue tile to slightly increase my odds of not hitting the red tile. So he plays Ringwraiths Abroad, gets to move leadership over and attack Rivendell. And I play Kindred of Glorfindel first, just in case I do hit the red tile. The 4 elites is obviously much more likely to hold out against, against this army than the 3 elites. So he attacks Rivendell, and he plays a character card. So seeing that it's a character card, it makes me not want to play Valor as much, because it might be Dread and Despair, so I'm not getting as much value. So I open with Confusion instead. And it's Foul Stench, so that doesn't really make a difference. So he rolls a 1 and no more hits, so that's a bummer for sure. And I get 2 hits. So I had to double check, because with Elrond, my leadership is so high that Foul Stench might have actually not worked. Because it's if the Nazgul leadership equals or exceeds the total Free People's leadership, the Free People's leader reroll is canceled. But 2 of his leadership is from the mouth, and the other 7 is Nazgul, and I have 7 leadership here too. So it ties it, so it does work, and it does cancel my leadership reroll. So anyway, that's still a bummer combat for him for sure. I got 2 hits. No, I got 3 hits total. There's 2 from that and 1 from the Confusion, and he accomplished nothing. So that's very sad for him. And I move, and it's not the red tile. So that's the end of the game. So yeah, a very weird sensation for me of being in a 3rd place match and winning. I've complained plenty, probably more than I should have, I guess, about the curse, where so far every tournament I've been in, I make it to the semifinals, and then I lose, and then I also lose the consolation match. So So it took me 6 series, like 6 best of 3s at the semifinals level to finally win one. But hey, we got there. So it's nice to get third. And also congratulations to the real winner of this match, which is Hakuna Matata, because now we don't have to vote over the Free People's Military anymore. Because him and I were the only ones who had a Free People's Military win in the tournament, which would have been decided which one was most epic by vote. But since I'm already winning something, I'm no longer in the running for the vote for that. So now he just wins. So congratulations, Hakuna Matata. And also, still congratulations to Ari for, like, it feels bad coming in 4th out of the top 4 and, not being on, that podium like we're at the Olympics or something. But still, top 4 is great. As many people have pointed out to me when I've complained about 4th place, it's still, there's a lot of other people in the tournament that would have liked to have gotten 4th and who were also great players, and luck didn't pull through for them. So I'd say luck definitely favored me these 2 games anyway. I'm just, sharing the other useful combat cards I would have had to help Rivendell hold out. And he points out that he didn't draw any Deadly Strifes, which is the opposite of what I had. Like last turn at the end, I had a Desperate Battle and 2 Deadly Strifes to finish off my last siege. Yeah, so then we're talking about the Boromir split and how that didn't really help. Like yeah, he killed a couple extra Southrons, but that didn't really make a difference. They weren't needed for anything. Anyway, then we talk about things we could have done differently. Let's look at the statistics. So these are flipped because, Free People rolled 155, Shadow Player rolled 72, probably the other way around, right? So certainly lucky for me that way. I'm overall +5 on hits. He's -4 on 6s, but +7 on 5s, which helps less when you don't have very many Desperate Battles or Deadly Strifes, So anyway, that's a bummer. Also, +7 on Palantirs for him, -5 on Musters. I mean, he's still got his people fairly, like he still had Saruman turn 1. I guess that hurt on turn 2, not having more Musters. And I was overall -4 on movement, so that doesn't help. And one of those wheels got taken away. It was a late Gandalf the White. So there was a bit of bad luck for me, but also a lot of good luck for sure. So anyway, yeah, them's the games. Thanks for watching. I will see you in some other videos.